there is one true kind of superstar potential stud that is coming out of this draft. Of course, I am talking about Brock Bowers, out of Georgia, 6'3", 243 pounds. Look, this guy's an absolute monster with the ball in his hands. Feels like we've been talking about him for the last 3 years since he shone as a true freshman for Georgia. Are you excited about the next generational tight end prospect?
Yeah, I mean, there's as good a chance as any that Brock Bowers is going to fulfill his potential. I mean, he's fulfilled it in college, straight away from a freshman back in 2021 with 13 touchdowns was just eye-opening for me. Helped Georgia lead them to the national championship. He's a blue chip player in this NFL draft. A lot of people, if you're not even talking about fantasy, he's a top 5 overall player in this draft class. I think he's special. For me, he's almost the complete tight end prospect. I'd obviously like to see him slightly bigger. When you see that picture of him, was it the combine standing next to Gronk, and he looks obviously he looks really small, but he's just slightly undersized compared to a lot of the tight ends in this class. But in terms of the prospect, he's probably the best tight end prospect that I've seen in my time in fantasy football coming out. Just that production profile. There's just not many weaknesses to his game other than he's slightly smaller, and can he transition and be that complete tight end in the NFL? I just think he's just amazing. His IQ is just absolutely elite. He's so smart. As you mentioned, he's a weapon with the ball in his hands. He's a really good blocker for his size, but that is the only weakness for me in terms of he does it really well at the college level. Well, when he moves up to the NFL, them defenders are bigger. They're going to be coming and hitting him harder. So at 240 odd pounds, is that a bit of a concern? Perhaps, but I just think he's a lock to go top 10 or possibly top 15 if he slips past your New York Jets. I've seen that as a decent landing spot for him. And he's someone that I am really interested in. But I'm seeing in the latest rookie mock drafts that he is ultimately falling, and he's falling behind, say, JJ McCarthy in Superflex formats. And I think there's a real interesting scenario where he could perhaps fall even further when you think the likes of the Buffalo Bills are going to be probably picking wide receiver round 1. The Chiefs could go there too. So I think that factors into what's happening with Brock Bowers. And then also when you look at, say, Kyle Pitts and how much he was hyped up the last few years and his production's not been there, I think perhaps people are a little bit scared of going all in with Brock Bowers. Obviously, tight end historically, you have to wait for the production, but we've seen with the likes of Sam Laporta that they can produce right out of the gate. So I think it's a really interesting prospect where you're going to see Brock Bowers taken high, but I think there's also going to be drafts where he falls and there's going to be real value with him.
Yeah, I think he's a fascinating prospect. For me, he's in my rookie model, he's the best tight end prospect since TJ Hawkinson. So that's ahead of Sam Laporta, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, all of those kind of guys. He's ranked ahead of that. I think that there's a lot of people talk about his ability with the ball in his hands, yards after the catch. I don't think people are doing that enough, because what he does with the ball in his hand is absolutely phenomenal. He has a better yards after the catch than almost any wide receiver in this entire class. He is an absolute freak. I have never seen a tight end used so creatively on end arounds and jet sweeps like Brock Bowers was at Georgia, which I think shows how amazing he is with the ball in his hand. And I fully expect that to translate to the next level. Yes, he is a little bit smaller than I like, but where that's a concern is more as an inline tight end. And I don't think Brock Bowers is one of those, like a Noah Fant type who can only really be used as a big slot because he struggles a little bit going in and blocking. Brock Bowers is such a physical, willing blocker that I've got no concerns about him lining up as a Y in line and kind of going from there. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a movable piece. I think he's fascinating. It's really interesting you saying about falling in drafts, because I think, for me, I feel like we do this every year. We hold up a quarterback in 1 QB leagues or the tight end in rookie drafts early, because we're like, right, this is an elite player. And then as we start to get to, people do more diving into the class, and as we start to get towards draft time, they're like, oh, actually, I really need these higher value positions. I'm going to go out and get my 3 wide receivers. I'm going to go out and get my 4 quarterbacks. And it starts to push Brock Bowers. I wouldn't be shocked if when we get to, rookie drafts in May, we've got probably the 4 quarterbacks going before him, the 3 wide receivers going before him. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a running back that goes day 2 to Baltimore, Dallas, Los Angeles. I wouldn't be shocked if they go ahead of him. If Xavier Worthy or Brian Thomas get top 20 draft capital, maybe Adonai Mitchell, I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about Brock Bowers as the 109, 110 in rookie drafts, rather than the 105, 106 that he was kind of being held up as 2 months ago. And I think that's just because people are beginning to realize that, yes, the tight end position, I started this off saying it's the forgotten position. I don't want to do it a disservice to start slagging it off, but let's be honest, the tight end position is less important to your dynasty roster than wide receiver, running back, quarterback. So I think, to spend a top 6 pick on Brock Bowers, you basically got to say he's the dynasty tight end 1. And I'm not quite ready to get, as much as I love him, I'm a Georgia guy. I love him as a prospect and think he is phenomenal. I'm not ready to put that price and say he has to be a dynasty tight end 1 because he's going to be a top 6 rookie pick for me. So yeah, I'm excited, but it's very much going to be price dependent for me as we get into those rookie drafts.
Yeah.
Before we get on to the second prospect, though, we are ever so close to 1,800 subscribers. If you are watching this and you've not hit that subscribe button, do us a favor. We've got rookie profiles dropping daily, and we have got best ball season just around the corner, so you're not going to want to miss any of that.